Hello and welcome back. So in here we want to see if Mary at this point is going to get a notification, or let's say not Mary, actually John at this point is going to get a notification when Mary comments on this, because Mary isn't the owner of this post or this one as well. If any of these comment, I need to see a notification on John's timeline. So if I click here on notification, John obviously has none. So what I will do is log out and log in as one of the other people. So for example, let's see, Mary. Let's go as Mary this time. If I go to this user's posts, and there is our famous post right there. So if I comment here, John should be able to see that notification. Now, let me come back here to posts and see where the notification is being added, because let's come back here, see where are we adding a notification here. So add notification, there we go. Oh, so we are only adding a notification in where are these functions? Like posts, and what's the other one? It's only like post. So we are actually not adding a notification when somebody comments. How is that? So let me go to my notification here and just confirm that. So it's only liked, followed, okay. So there's no commenting anywhere. So let's change that for a second. So I'm going to copy from like posts, I'm just going to copy add notification here, and I will copy that. And let's try and put this on when somebody comments. So let's see, get comments. I actually thought we had already done this part, but apparently we haven't. So it's better to add the notification after the fact of saving here, just so we don't disturb the saving part, because that is more important. So let's add notification there, and let's change this to comment, because that's the activity. So comment. So this current user comment, and then that's the single post. So where is this single post here? So this single post is for the content that we are commenting on, and in our case the content should be the parent, the post itself, the parent post itself. So at this point, what I want to do is, if parent is equal to 0, if parent is equal to 0, then we will know that this is a post itself, so we don't need to do that. Actually, that's true, so we need to move this guy out of here. Sorry about that. Let's come here, right here where we are adding content I follow. So if this is not my post, so we already have this, it means this is not my post. So if it isn't, let's add a notification as well. So we'll add it to content I follow, and then let's add a notification also right there. Let's put a comment here and say follow this item, and then here add notification, and let's see, comment, and instead of single post we will use my post here, because single post doesn't exist here. There we go. So let's see what will happen here. So if I go to functions here and see add notification, so the activity, that's comment, so activity will be equal to activity. Okay, that's good. Okay, I think everything else is up to speed. All right, good. So let's go back to our section here. Let's make sure that here nothing will change in content I follow. Oh, actually it will change. We should have one more record here once we post. And then let's go up to notifications now. And let's see, the last record is number 16. So let's see what will happen if we actually post something. So let me write another comment. A comment from Mary. Let me post. Okay, so we have a comment from Mary there. Let's come back here and see if we have 17 now. Let me click. Okay, so there we have 17. So the activity is comment and content ID, the content owner, the content type. It's saying it's a post. Okay, great. Yes, so this might present a problem because when somebody comments, we may want to view the comment itself instead of going to the post itself, but it's okay, we can handle that later. And then content I follow, we have a new record here, so which is good. So these people, as you can see, they're following the same content right here, which makes sense, and that content is a post, which makes sense. Okay, so let's come back here and let me go to John's account this time, and I want to see a notification from John on John's section here. So let me log out, log in as John, password, and so let's come here, and as you may have guessed, we will not find a notification here because we haven't integrated content I follow yet. So to do that, let's go to our not the classes though, where do we go here? Let's go to notifications itself, notifications.php. all right, so I don't remember the query here, so let's look at the query we are using to get our notifications. Okay, so here it is. So select all from notifications where user ID is not mine and the content owner is equal to me. Okay, so fair enough. Now the only difference now is we want to look for items in our database, in our media I follow. So let's read from that real quick here. So I'm going to come here and say check content I follow. Okay, so here we are limiting our notifications to 30, so maybe we can limit the content I follow to 100 or something. That's entirely up to you. So here to differentiate between the first query and the second one, I will use SQL here and say SQL is equal to select all from, is it content I follow? What is the name of this content I follow? That's right. So let me come back here. That's content I follow. Okay, so select all from content I follow where, so we have to add a where clause here. And so let's look at our table to construct that. So obviously where user ID is equal to mine, so we'll look at wherever the user ID is mine, and I think that's all we need to look for. And disabled should be 0. Okay, so let's start with disabled. Where disabled is equal to 0, and user ID is equal to, my ID in this case is ID. So say limit 100. That way you don't still follow content that is old. But if you want people to follow the content that is very old from the beginning of the website, just remove the limit here and it will get every content they ever followed. Okay, so but here we are limiting it to reduce processing power. So let me remove that and then paste it there as well. So instead of data, I'm going to say, maybe put something like I follow, what you follow here, db read, and then SQL, like so. Okay, great. So now I want to ask the question if this is an array. dbRead. Yes. Okay. So say if is array. If it's array I follow, then we do something in here. So it means there is content that I actually follow. So at this point, let me do follow here, another variable. Follow is equal to. So we want to get everything that I follow here. Now the thing is, 1 second here. The thing is, this returns an array of objects here. So wait a minute. I don't know if array column will actually work here, but let's try. So I'll say array column. I've never tried it on an object, so let's see if it's going to actually work out. So I follow, and then the column that we want is the content ID. Content ID. So what I'm doing here is, let's say it returns these two columns, rows, sorry. I just wanted to get only this column from each row, just this column, so that I know I have this here. Okay, so let me come back here and say at this point, copy. I want to print readable. And then I want it to die right there, so that I just want to see what result it will get. So let's refresh the page. And as you can see, it's actually working. So array column works here. So I have this one content that I'm following, and that's good enough. So once I have this now, what I can do is, let me copy this follow right here and put it at the top here so that I don't have an error, because I want to use it in the query. So I will say follow is equal to, I want it to be an empty array to start with, like so. Okay, so let's start with an empty array. Let me remove the wrapping of word here. Okay, so it starts as an empty array, but if I follow exists, if we got some results, let's set it to an array of our actual content. And then once we do that, let's get content owner. Let's come back to notification here. I just confirm something. Where's notifications? There we go. So this is the content ID right here. So we are looking for specific content. The reason we don't use this content ID currently in the query, because if we own the content, there's no need to know the content ID, but we can also search for content ID at this point, because there are people who are following our content as well. So let's do that here. So if this is not an empty array, all right, so let's put two queries instead. Let's do this. I'll put two queries here. Could have done it differently. Okay, so what I want to check for is this one, if it contains anything. So I'm going to say if count, if the number of items there is greater than 0, then we'll use one query. However, if it's not, we'll use a different query. This will be the second query here. There we go. Like this. Okay. So if it's greater than 0, then it means we have content that we are following. So now what I want to do is implode this thing. So I'm going to say follow, the same follow. Is equal to, or let me use string str just to change things up a little bit. So we're going to use the function implode, and bear with me here for a second. I want to put a glue. I'll put that and a comma like that, and then the pieces are follow. So what this function does, this is the opposite of explode. So implode, it gets an array and implodes it into a string. So it converts an array into a string. So it gets all the values, and then, for example, if you put a comma here, it's going to put a comma in between each value but convert the array into a string. But what I want here is not just a comma, I want a small inverted comma there and another one here, and then I will put one here as well. I will do this and then concatenate the implode and then put the same thing outside here. So I want you to see the result of this real quick here. So I will say echo str and die right there. So let's refresh and see that. So as you can see, there's a comma here and there's a comma there. So if I had an inverted comma, if I had two items here, there would be a comma here and a comma after this, and then the second item will show. It will be a string from an array. So we want to use this string inside our query. So I want to remove this. And so what I will do is we're going to use the keyword in. So selector from notification where this is true. So let's put everything here in brackets so that it can be evaluated on its own. But we want to put an and here. So if this is true, what we are already doing, and or this other thing is true. So this other thing will be content ID, because that's where we are checking. Content ID, instead of saying is equal to, because we have a string, we are going to say in, like so. And then let's put those brackets again, and let's put str like that. Okay, so content in string. So what this means is that if in that list of strings, if the content ID is found, then we are good to go. So let me try and... So as you can see now, we have Mary, Piri. Okay, so we're missing commented here. So let's go to notification. But at least you can see now that I have the notification, even though it's not on my post. So there's just one thing missing. If we go to notification, single notification here. Oops, my screen keeps fighting with itself. Okay, single notification, that's where we are going. And so at this point we are looking for content. Where is the activity being saved? Here, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, content type, let me just search for it. Okay, so if notification is equal to like, if it's equal to follow, and let's add one else if here, comment. So this one should be commented. Save that. Okay, so Mary Perry commented on Ethan's image. Great. So let's click on there and see, and we are taken to the post itself. Very nice. And to find that she actually did comment, which is very good. But we might want to send the user to the comment itself. If that's because if we went to the comment, we can still come back to the post, because sometimes there are many comments here. So let's see if we can do that real quick. If I say commented, so where is this? It's where we are producing the link here. Content type is post, right? So if it's a comment, this is where we are going to be. Let me see in notifications here. 1 second. Let's refresh. Okay, so it's comment. The activity is comment, but the content type is a post. Okay, so I think where we should change things is in this column here. Instead of saying it's a post, it should be a comment. So our problem is with the add notification. So let's go back to functions where there's add notification here. 1 second. So if parent is not 0, oh, okay, so that's what it's looking for. They need to know it's a comment, right? I don't know why this didn't work. What row are we adding here? We're adding the parent, right? So let me go back to post PHP, add notification. It's a comment, and my post is equal to actually the post itself. Okay, so why didn't this work? If row is post ID, which is true, there will be a post ID. And if parent is greater than 0, content type. Okay, so I don't know why this went to... Okay, so I'll check it behind the scenes, and when we come back, I will have a solution to that problem, so that instead of it taking us to the post, we go and see the actual comment, and then we can go and see the post if we want to. Alright, so I'll see you in the next video.